nitrogen by a fixed amount only. So after I had spread manure on everything, or liquid manure on everything, we had, let's go into here, and there we go. So that's the pH. That's just from lime spreading. This is from, I haven't fertilized this field, but I have put liquid manure on it. So this field was down around 0.20 when we started. When I put the liquid manure on there, we get 60, 80, 100, 120. So we get somewhere within that range just from the liquid manure. Now these fields I've already planted and fertilized, so they're not a good example. But this one we haven't done yet. So that's what we got to see from the liquid manure. Now, you don't get a precise amount of fertilizer in the ground until you plant your seed, because each seed type requires each seed type requires a different level of nitrogen. So the liquid fertilizer, or the liquid manure or digestate, stick it on the field, it will give your field a boost in nitrogen. And it's relatively cheap. And it's a constant rate. But if you've already been over a part of the field with liquid manure, then the applicator will turn itself off. So you're not going over the same part of the field multiple times or using significant amounts of liquid manure. So overlap doesn't matter anymore. That's what I'm trying to say. I can spread some on part of the field. I can then go back and leave the spreader on and pull a U-turn and come back on myself, and it won't turn back on until I get to a point where we haven't done that bit yet. And if your spreader is too wide for the field, then doing an overlap, it will not spread where you've already been. So like I've got the overlap on the left side of this cultivator. If this was a fertilizer and the piece to the left of me had already been fertilized, it would not be applying more fertilizer to that strip, which is what not having precision farming does. But you don't get any extra benefit from pouring a ton of fertilizer on one spot in the field. You just waste your fertilizer. So I think that was a change since the original precision farming was created. But anyway, as I said, I couldn't plant oilseed radish, and get it to cultivate or grow and cultivate. So I just spread manure over all the fields to emulate the fact that we'd had we'd had oilseed radish in the ground at the end of last year. And then, as I said, I spread the liquid manure because that would have been, I think it would have had the similar effect of oilseed radish, but as I said, we couldn't make use of that. And then I spent a couple of days planting some of our other fields. Now, all of our fields have been planted early spring or later, so we're not expecting a significantly early fall harvest or late summer harvest, which is what we'd get if we planted stuff in the fall. I do have the converted sprayer, although I've reduced the boom size. I only went up one boom size rather than to the maximum, because I'm kind of finding Big equipment is good because it gets the job done quickly, but it also gets wrapped around trees and the edge of the map and what have you. So in some situations, I found, especially with that sprayer, it's kind of easier to use a smaller spray boom width. And that's, as I said, loaded up on the Valtra jig. So we're gonna pull this off the field. And jump back in the class. Where's the class there? And we will set this up again. So I'm going to plant these 2 fields with sunflowers. It's 150. 60, 70, oops, too much 80. That's close enough. Let's point the tractor that way and tell it to go. So that's kind of cool. Wheels space out. So if we stay with this for a moment, we'll see a change in the fertilizer states. At least we should. Low. Change the fertilizer states. Oh no, sunflowers are... This is going to be interesting. Okay. So this is where I made a mistake applying liquid manure. We come up to here and stand on this piece of ground. Oh, this is actually perfect. But if I go over there, we should find that we've got 60 kilos per hectare of nitrogen already in the ground, and that's from the liquid manure. And if I come to here, which is where we've planted, come to here where we've planted sunflowers. This is crazy. We've got 80 out of 80. Sunflowers is a very low nitrogen requiring crop. So that might be not a disaster. But it does mean the fertilizer in those tanks is not getting used much, if at all. Because it doesn't need more fertilizer. No more nitrogen required than what we already have in the field from the liquid manure. So I'm going to take this back down to the bottom yard. Oh, sugar beets, I'm claiming we sold most of them except 30,000 litres, which I put in crates in order to feed the sheep for the company. So I do have 30, or I don't have 30 pallets of sugar beets because we've been feeding the sheep for 3 days. Well, this is the 3rd day. And so that's a thing. I might take that shed there down. I don't know if I want to keep it or not. I've got a lot of room down the end. I'm generally going to keep equipment that doesn't have consumables in it in an open front shed. So I've got the plows, the cultivator will go down here. And then I've got harvesting stuff in the other shed like this one. So we're looking at harvesting headers and that kind of stuff. What did I just press? Let's see. That's good. So yeah, I got a long plough and a short plough because I found it's easier to do a short plough over the edges. So that's our mowing equipment, which I've switched to a convertment with the windrower at the back. Our 2 harvester headers, Johnston trailer, and I think the bale creels are at the side there, and the harvester for sugar beets. In that shed we've got our big lime spreader plus the planter, the seeder, and I will be putting the planter in there as well. And we'll probably put the sprayer equipment in there for the winter. This shed not using. I've moved all of the tractors, or all of the big engined equipment round to this shed here. So you see we've got our Fendt harvester back. That was easy, that was a mod hub thing. And I think we'll keep it for a while. Go there. Okay, let's go get in the Fendt tractor. So I have bought some hay, and I've bought some clover silage, but we don't have a lot of that left. Also, new set of pallet forks. They come with the realistic seeder mod, and they allow you to connect the pallet to the forks. Oh, don't do that. Because I have to be standing in front of the gate for that to work. So I've got the pallet of sugar beets. I also bought a pair of brooms for the sheep area. Oops. The sheep areas. Okay, so that's their sugar beet requirement. That is so much easier than having to come back with the shovel on the front of the tractor. So let's review sheep for right now. So sheep now require grass silage or clover silage, hay, alfalfa hay or clover hay, and then fresh grass, grass clover, fresh maize or hay pellets, and then sugar beets and carrots. Now what I discovered was this map works for grass. So long as there is grass growing in this field, it will replenish the trough for... Keep pressing the wrong button. It'll replenish the trough for grass requirement, so that's a good thing. Unfortunately, that field is a little short on grass. This field down here, however, I'm not having so much of a problem. These are our other 250 sheep, and they're all Dorsets. I decided I wasn't going to mess with the breed of sheep. We are running Dorset sheep. No geo on this map, or no personally selected geo. This map has a geo installed, and so we're using the map geo, which is not the base seasons geo. So run this over here. This should probably empty this pallet. Or not. 65 litres left. Yay. It's that easy. Because otherwise I'm driving back up to the farm multiple times just to get a bucket. And, now I need pallet forks and bale spikes. So this is our second set of sheep. And in this field we have all the grass. I need to top those up sometime, and the water will do that on the way back. But this one, again, need to top up hay and grass silage or clover. I'm using clover silage. I couldn't find that the grass silage works. We could have a check on that, yes. So I do have a silage bale in the yard, but the sheep didn't seem to want to accept it. And of course the good thing about splitting this into 250 sheep per field rather than 500 in one, it splits up the wool production between two spawn points. So we have capacity now for 8 wool pallets rather than just 4. So I still have to move as many, but I don't have to move them quite so frequently. There we go. So this field is all grass. The one on the other side I've converted to clover. Oh, I was going to say let's go around and explore places. So we'll drop the sugar beets back at the yard, and then since we're in this tractor we'll take this out for a jaunt. Yeah, I heard there'd been a lot of changes in World of Tanks. I haven't played World of Tanks. Since World of Warships, I think, went out of open beta. I just stopped playing World of Tanks and just played World of Warships because I can really only concentrate on one of those types of games and be good at it. Okay, so I can put this down and press X. And it disconnects the pallet from my forks, which is something the CSZ pack used to do. I'm not sure I like it, but we'll figure it. Yeah, I'll either get used to it or I'll get rid of these pallet forks and stick with the CSZ forks. The CSC fork's slightly different. I can turn off the collisions on the spikes so that pallets drop off, but you still have to be very precise with the picking up and the putting down. So let's go wandering around the farm now. So as you can see, we've got 2 spawn points for wool. I still have the damn gravel trailer and the man truck with its hopper on the back. I do not have the... what was the other trailer we had? I want another grain trailer, but I'm thinking something in the 30,000 litre mark. That thing there is a pallet maker. You can put potatoes or sugar beets in it and it will put them in pallets for you. And then you don't have a huge mountain of sugar beets to shovel. So that's how we got those pallets of sugar beets in that shed to the right. So I still have the CSC pallet fork there. So Linna 130 with the lizard bale spikes and a variable weight on the back that's almost maxed out. And this is our Valtra G, which is in a rather fetching shade of army green, and Kverneland sprayer with shorter arms than the old one, but effectively the same piece of kit we had before. Obviously the Fendt is the same piece of kit we had before. Nothing in there. So down here I have multiple seed pallets. So what's that? Sugar beet pallet, triticale. My research tells me that's triticale and not triticale. We have grass seed, we have clover seed. We probably won't use much in the way of grass or clover seed unless I have to plough a field and replant it. Back of the trailer there is sunflower seed. I do not have... Oh, I didn't buy the belts, so I might want to do that at some time. We've already seen all the rest of the tractors, which consist of the Challenger, the Class, and very briefly the Case. We'll be visiting with that later on today, I'm guessing. Down here we have the Flegel tipper and the Flegel flatbed auto-load square bales, which I might have to swap to round bales if the square bale stuff doesn't work or I decide to go to round baling. I think we had that, which is our slurry spreader, but the shed is new. Beet harvester equipment, yeah, that we had before. Johnston trailer, as I said, I haven't bought the logging trailer attachments for that yet. We have the Heliodor and standard draper for the Fendt. The Kverneland mowers, we used to have Class mowers. The big blue plough we had before, the smaller one is the Kverneland. I could have a cultivator attached to it, I didn't bother. And obviously the Horsch Joker 12, which we just bought. And then in this shed I've got the big Breathel spreader set up for lime, and our faithful Kverneland 12 metre seeder, direct drill. So that's all the stuff we have here. It's time to go and explore the fields. So we'll start on the other side of the road across from the sawmill. And apparently in World of Tanks they're looking at changing the way crews work, so don't know if that's going to be a good or bad thing. So this is our big field, which I have planted with triticale. It is germinated. And we have a good layer of pH and nitrogen for this. What I'm intrigued to find out is if the big circle on the left edge of this field, where the flying saucer landed, is still here or not. And it's looking like yes it is. So there is a flaw on this map, whether you're playing the Farmers Agency edition or the standard edition. There is a circle of ground here that doesn't seem to work. I guess we'll see if we grow any crops here, but if you look over the other side, nothing happening in that patch there on that side. Annoying, but I wouldn't know how to fix it. Now we come up to here. I did create a little track down the side. I think this field is also triticale. Nope, this is our sugar beet field. It's about 14 acres, which is approximately 500,000 litres of sugar beets expected, and we have perfect nitrogen and pH, so that should be good. This last field at the top here is, I can't remember, I think I planted this with clover. That is fake, so the telephone pole is fake. These trees are a serious pain in the butt, so if I can figure it out, we will get rid of those and plough that area and plant it. But this is clover. And as you can see, I've serially screwed up the nitrogen because I put the natural fertilizer down, and it pushed me up to 140 kilos per hectare, and clover only needs 60. So now I've got to figure out how to reduce that. I might have to plant a regular crop and then harvest it. Probably something like corn, because corn is horrible for nitrogen. Although we don't have any method to harvest corn at the moment. So that's these three fields. I believe the triangular field down at the south of the farm is also planted triticale, which looks like a perfect yield as well. We're probably going to have to come back out here sometime and spray some herbicide. I'm kind of playing with figuring out the whole what is it? Crop destruction 2.0. So basically, my understanding is all tyres damage crop. Narrow tyres damage less crop than wide tyres. So it's still worth using narrow tyres to do things on a field with crop. But you kind of want to stay off the field as much as possible. Now that's really easy with precision farming, because you only need to be on the field to apply fertilizer once, and the amount of fertilizer you need to add varies based on the crop that you have in the field. So that's kind of a thing. So our clover's started growing, that's good. But I'm not sure I want to be driving on grass or clover with a disc harrow. Because grass goes back one growth stage. So again, this is triticale and looks good. So I put the cereals on this side of the farm. And we're putting the sunflowers on the other side. Obviously the sugar beets are up where we just were. And hopefully we don't get a bus coming. So this used to be an arable field. We've switched it back to clover. And again, bad nitrogen. So I'm hoping every time we mow that, the nitrogen levels drop.